Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are at Schwarzkopf Professional. My name is Mili, and today I'm going to take you through how to create a cinnamon brown color story on this beautiful model named Antonia. I want to tell you that this haircut was done by my lovely colleague Cassie, and if you really love this haircut, which I do, and I think it's going to complement this hair color fantastically, you should click the link below to watch her video as well on how to do this shag haircut. I'm pretty sure you may have noticed many clients would like to go darker for fall or richer or warmer. So today I'm going to show you a really easy technique on how you can create dimension and warmth through your formulation to take that client from maybe a more single monotonal look into a dimensional look, and we're going to work with warmth and with cinnamon rich tones that I think are really in for fall. So let's start. So my first formula, which is going to be my base and also my low light, will be 5-57 and 5-4. So I love this combination because you get a little bit of that neutral base of the beige, but then you can also like kick it up a notch with that gold and that copper. And it does really balance it out. So you don't get a super copper intense look, but you also don't get a super dull hair color. So that's going to be my base color, and I'm also going to use it as my low light application. Let's talk now about the mid-tone formula. So I'm going to use this as my middle tone, and I think this one needs to be rich and quite warm. So I've chosen to go with 7-57 and 7-76, which I really love combined. You get a really nice brown tone from that 6, but in combination with that copper that warms everything up, and we have that touch of gold that also grounds the copper a little bit, so it does really give you almost like that cinnamon tone that we're going for. And last but not least, let's talk about the lightest formula that I'm going to be using today. And for this one I have chosen a combination again of my 7s, so this will be 7-57 with 8-65. I really like this combination because again, you get a little bit of that brown coming through, a little bit of the copper grounded by the gold, but we're also going a little bit higher because we've chosen a base 8. So I'm going to take you through what I'm going to do with the application now, but first I'm going to section her off and I'll come back to you when she's ready. Alright guys, so I'm back with my sectioning, and it is truly just a very simple sectioning to put in my root or my base color, which is what I'm going to be starting with. At the moment I'm going to just deposit with 3%, and then I'm going to use 6% for the mid lengths and ends. But if your client is darker, you might want to bump that up to 9% in the mid lengths and ends, or you can choose different developer strengths. I do usually recommend to go in with 3% in the base because we don't really need any lift, only deposit. Alright guys, I have finished my base, and as you can see, I've gone ahead and stretched it a little bit further than just a regrowth so that I can melt it with the rest of my colors. So now I'm going to start placing all of my different dimensional shades, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the game plan on how I'm going to put them in the hair. So my first section that I've started with is just going to go basically all the way to the back, and as you can see here we have the nape, but I am going to count this as a full section. As I work my way up, they're going to become a little bit less wide, as I am going to be working more or less with a 1 centimeter section. This should leave us with more or less 4 sections from the bottom to the top, so it's actually a pretty speedy technique when you think about it. What I mean with the section is how much hair I'm going to take to be painting with. And this is where it will change according to your client or the person sitting in your chair. In this case, as I said, I'm working almost with 2 centimeters, and then I'm going to go with 1 centimeter sections, and this is all the hair that is going to be. However, if your client sitting in your chair has thicker hair or less hair, you're going to have to adapt the width and the amount of hair in your section to make sure that you still get a dimensional effect and it's not looking so color blocky. So with this big section, I'm going to actually zigzag or weave into it to make sure that I have the right dimension going through it. So first things first, I'm going to weave and split it into 2. I'm going to go ahead and clip that out of the way. and I'm going to paint my first section in the same color as my base. The reason why I'm doing that is because I'd like to keep some depth around the contour of the face or the contour of the neck, and I think this will achieve that. Then my next section will actually be my mid-tone, and then I'm going to move forwards, continuing this pattern, but I will be alternating between my darkest, my mid shade, and my darkest and my lighter shade. So that means as it goes, it will look like this: dark, mid, dark, light, dark, mid, dark, light. I will be leaving the top with my lightest formula because I think it's really nice to finish with a little bit more brightness and a little bit more shimmering tones at the top of the head where the sun would normally hit, because it's going to look beautiful, especially with this nice sunfall that we have going on. All right, so this is my next section, which I have weaved out first. Here we have the darkest shade, our base color, and now I'm gonna work with my mid-tone. The formula here is 7-57 and 7-76, and then as I move forwards, I'm going to take another section, as we said, round about 1 centimeter wide. I'm going to split it, weave it, zigzag it. I'm gonna pull the first part of it, and it's gonna be, again, our darkest shade, and then on the top section, we will have our lightest shade, which is our 8-65 with our 7-57 again. Alright, so I'm going to continue. I have 2 more sections to go, one which will again be my mid-tone and then one which will be my lightest shade. I'm going to go ahead and finish this and come back to you when I'm almost done at the top section. Alright guys, so I finished painting the lower zigzag part of my section and I'm at the very last part of my section, and this is usually what I would go ahead and paint in the lightest shade again, but I want to go ahead and talk to you about something that I love doing with this technique, which is creating a very small veil at the top. And the reason why I do that is because I think it always blends everything a little bit better, and in case there's any oops, any lines, you don't have to worry about it, because with that particular veil on top, you're going to cover that up. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this section and just leave the tiniest amount of hair at the very top of it. You can see it's a really fine section, and I'm going to go ahead and paint this one in our base color, and this is what I would consider my veil. So when the hair grows out, you also don't have to worry about demarcation lines or anything like that, because this veil will cover them. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and paint this last section with my lighter shade, this one with our base color, and I'm going to repeat the same pattern and process on the other side. Alright guys, so I finished my whole head application, alternating as I taught you, with the zigzag in between, making sure that I leave my veil at the very top for that little piece of darkness and dimension to make those colors blend together. Now I'm gonna let it process for the full processing time, and I'm gonna come back with the finished result for you. Alright guys, I'm back and Antonia is ready. I have to thank my colleague Cassie for giving her this amazing blowout. But here she is. This is our final result. This is how we created that cinnamon story, that bronze story, and we have all of those lovely tones melting together. We went ahead and put on a new base in a level 5, and then we kind of stretched that out, and then we created a diagonal sectioning from the top of the head all the way to the back, and we zigzag, dividing the section into 2. One part we kept as a low light, and then we added an alternate color, which was a medium formula and a lighter formula. So we just alternated that all the way throughout, and then finally we kept a very small veil of darkness at the top just to make everything more seamless. And this is our final result. Of course, you can use this technique with different formulas, with different colors, or you can take inspiration from the formulas in this video for those clients that want to go a little bit darker as we approach fall, or even a little bit warmer. I hope you took something nice out of this video. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried this this technique before, or if you are going to try it, I love to hear from you. And please return to our channel soon for more videos. If you want to know any technical information about our products, we have a free education resource called the E-Academy. The link is below. You can have a lot of free education for you to explore. And that is it from me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.